My husband is very wealthy, but I don't love him. In college, he used every means possible to pursue my roommate Sienna Jiang. Luxury gifts came one after another. He even ostentatiously sent 9,000 roses to our dormitory building. All the girls in our dorm benefited. We carried armfuls of roses back upstairs, as if we were moving a flower nursery. Only Sienna Jiang remained coldly indifferent. She even warned Liu Pei not to come looking for her again. He's rich and not bad. Looking, are you really not interested? With a face mask on, I finally asked the question I never understood. Despite her stunning looks, she spent every day hanging out with that senior who worked odd jobs everywhere. No thanks. If you want a mature, rigid man like that, you go after him. Sienna Jiang scoffed disdainfully, propping my chin in my hand. I thought for a moment and nodded. All right, I'll pursue him. Sienna Jiang's expression shifted, and she fell silent. After removing the mask, I washed my face and went downstairs. She already has a boyfriend. Holding my umbrella, I spotted Liu Pei, standing like a devoted puppy outside the dorm building, gazing longingly at our window, and I couldn't resist adding a remark. He froze, adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses, and apologized. Sorry, I didn't know. Sienna Jiang actually didn't tell him. His expression darkened as he lowered his head, attempting to toss the black roses into the trash. Holding my umbrella, I watched the flowers getting drenched in the rain and felt it was a shame. Black roses, I like those. Wait, don't throw them away. Give them to me. He gave a self-mocking smile at the rain, soaked black roses, and handed them over. Okay. At that moment, his white shirt was quite drenched, clinging to the faint outline of his abs. Clean, well-mannered, with abs, tall, obedient, most importantly, wealthy. Honestly, he's quite my type. Hey, I called out to him. He turned around, looking confused. I don't have a boyfriend yet. Chase me. I held the umbrella out, sheltering him from the rain. I'm not bad. Looking, keep early hours, and maintain a healthy, regular routine. I run 6 kilometers every morning, eat healthy meals at night, and do daily skincare with face masks. Far more people pursued me than Sienna Jiang, but I turned them all down. He removed his gold-rimmed glasses and gazed at me quietly. Time seemed to stretch on, long enough for his assistant to arrive with an umbrella, long enough for his car to pull up at the dormitory building. Okay. He took down my number before leaving. I turned and went upstairs. I looked up Liu Pei's background. He started his own business right after graduation, and his company kept expanding. Once he returns to inherit the Pei Group, he'll be very wealthy. That's why I couldn't understand Sienna Jiang. Maybe because my parents always argued over money and eventually divorced. The most important criterion for me in choosing a partner is wealth. With money, there's no need to quarrel over household expenses and daily necessities. Back in the dorm, Sienna Jiang looked at the flowers in my hand, her expression turning sour. No need to worry anymore. He won't bother you from now on. I set the flowers down, drying my hair as I spoke to her. I expected her to sigh in relief or feel unburdened, but instead, her expression darkened further. You're despicable. She cursed at me. Sienna Jiang's voice wasn't loud, but it was clear enough to instantly silence the entire dorm. My hand paused mid-motion, and the towel slipped from my grip, splashing a puddle of water on the floor. I've never been one to resort to violence, but in that moment, I slapped her. Neither of us were prone to losing control, but that day, there was something in her eyes, a feeling pushed to the absolute limit. I couldn't read it, nor did I want to. Our roommates were horrified. Some tried to mediate, others to intervene. Some said I'd gone too far, while others accused her of hypocrisy. But I truly didn't understand. She clearly said no, clearly said it was a burden. So why, when I took it on, did it become stealing? From that day on, she moved out of the dorm and barely spoke to me again. I didn't dwell on it much. Some called me unethical. Others said the same about Sienna Jiang. I still don't understand. She said Liu Pei's pursuit was a burden to her, that she didn't want it. So when I accepted it instead, why did she get angry? Angry or not, insulting me is something I won't tolerate. Occasionally, I'd hear about her with her boyfriend. Some said they were a perfect match, talented and beautiful. Online, there were even people shipping her with that senior. Meanwhile, my interactions with Leo Pei only increased. He wasn't expressive, but he was impeccably polite, restrained in manner, and soon became a hot topic on the campus forum. I became a presence by his side, and rumors spread like wildfire. But I didn't care. I'd known from the start exactly what I wanted. On our wedding day, Leo Pei rushed in at the last moment, standing before me in a perfectly tailored suit. He was like a finely tuned, precision instrument, flawless in every detail. The wedding was grand. A third of the guests on the list were people whose names I didn't even recognize. I smiled appropriately, carried myself gracefully. In every photo, there wasn't a single flaw to be found. I have no idea how he convinced his parents to agree to let him marry me. There was no wealthy alliance marriage, no matching of social status. His parents are also very cultured people. None of the contempt or disdain I imagined ever happened. They gave us their most sincere blessings. May you support each other in the future and nurture this marriage and your own lives well. After marriage, I lived very comfortably. Leo Pei is truly wealthy. How wealthy? Companies under his name span the globe. He travels by private jet, and a single contract can be worth billions. Marrying him was the smartest decision I've ever made. He doesn't understand romance, nor does he understand me. He won't write me love letters, won't call late at night to say he misses me, and even on Valentine's Day, he just has his assistant send flowers. He's the typical old school type of husband, calm, disciplined, and boring. Perhaps all the passion he once had was spent on Sienna Jiang. Being with him, I feel like I married a money-making machine. Your husband is away again? What's the use of all that money if he's never home? You must be so lonely. Fiona Sue has been my childhood friend, though we've seen less of each other since she got married. Right away, she expressed sympathy for me, feeling my husband spends too little time with me. I disagreed and took her aboard my private jet. How could I be lonely? The world is so vast, and I should thank my husband for working so hard to earn money, giving me the chance to explore it anywhere in the world. Whenever I wish, I can enjoy the most luxurious treatments. Lonely? How could I be? My friend looked uneasy and finally just shook her head. I still believe that no matter what, being together as a couple is what matters most. Even if it means enduring wind and sun, I'd find it sweet. I didn't understand, and was even quite shocked. There are actually people who think the same way as Sienna Jiang, but I still felt a bit down, perhaps, in their eyes. I'm the odd one out. I think you've changed. You're not the Lana Shen I knew when we were kids anymore. She blushed under my gaze, tossed out those words angrily, and stormed off. She was right. I have changed. At first, I would take her on trips, covering all expenses, and gave her a supplementary card for various beauty treatments. But she always felt awkward, insisting I calculate costs everywhere we went, unwilling to take advantage of me, even though I repeatedly assured her it wasn't necessary. And even Leo Pei urged her to spend more time with me with expenses reimbursed. She still refused. When the assistant provided all costs at discounted rates, she looked embarrassed at the high prices and asked for invoices and receipts. She insinuated sarcastically that the assistant was trying to scam her. Over time, I rarely invited her out anymore. After marriage, the social circles I moved in were completely different. I was extremely busy. Besides traveling to relax, I enrolled in many courses, from flower arranging and French to financial management, studying diligently, not out of interest, but to ensure that if anything happened, I wouldn't leave empty-handed. I heard Shin Siju had broken up with that senior of hers and even started working at a subsidiary under Leo Pei. If one day Leo Pei remembered his passionate first love, the one that got away, and insisted on divorce, I couldn't go into battle unprepared. Although taking half the assets in a divorce seems unrealistic, I just want to secure as much as possible. I'll need to learn how to manage whatever I get. So I've been quite busy. When I returned from country R, Fiona Sue came over. Lana Shen, your one that got away, is back. Your first love is back, and now she's loaded. You married Leo Pei for money back then. Now, you can divorce him and marry Ryan Liu. All these years, he never looked for anyone else. You've always been on his mind. Coincidentally, Leo also returned on the day I came back. He heard every single word. He stood at the entrance, impeccably dressed in a suit, his expression calm, with little emotion visible in his eyes. Fiona Sue turned around, her face instantly pale. She hurriedly stood up, forcing an awkward smile. Mr. Pei, you're back. I was just joking earlier. Lana wouldn't actually. I didn't take it seriously. His tone was even as he stepped inside, still in his suit, holding a gift box from his business trip. I didn't think much of it. He lowered his gaze and placed the gift box before me. You mentioned wanting to try Hokkaido Mill Phi crepe cake last time. I brought some. My eyes flickered, but my fingers remained still. My itinerary assistant must have reported to him. He knew I was returning today and came back specifically for this. Didn't he? I knew his schedule was tight. It couldn't have been easy for him to break away. Thank you. I heard him give a faint in response before turning and heading upstairs. Sitting on the sofa, I stared at the exquisitely perfect Mill Phi cake and suddenly found it tasteless as wax. Fiona Sue had long since fled. She hadn't expected Leo Pei to return early. Even more unexpectedly, he wasn't the kind of indifferent, clueless husband at all. Actually, I knew it too. I knew he treated me well. It's just that his kindness lacked romance, passion, and heart, fluttering excitement. It was too plain. He, like me, is the extremely self-disciplined type. Two similar people rarely spark fireworks, I suppose. The only thing that truly matched was his physique, toned with abs and muscles like a top male model, and he was astonishingly strong in bed. Even in our most intimate moments, he strictly controlled the pace, disciplined to the point of severity, yet I found nothing to fault. Thinking about parting ways in the future, I felt an inexplicable twinge of loss. I didn't take Fiona Sue's words to heart at all. How could anyone's wealth compare to Leo Pei's? That one that got away she mentioned, Ryan Liu, was just someone who pursued me in college. He chased after me. I said I wasn't interested, but he told others I'd agreed. He kept pestering me, so I bluntly said I'd only marry someone rich. Rumors are hard to dispel, and somehow it spread that he was my one that got away. Ridiculous. Yet the next day, Ryan Liu actually reached out to me. His text was cautious and restrained. Lance, it's Ryan Liu. Can we meet? I have something to say. Such a nauseating nickname. I didn't reply, but it did stir something inside me. Not out of love, but because I felt he was like a ticking bomb. If not handled carefully, it could become a hidden landmine in my marriage, ready to blow up and ruin my life one day. I know that once the media gets wind of this unresolved, old, flame drama, it would be a fatal blow to me. I'm not love-struck. I'm fully aware that if I want to keep my current life, I can't afford to make a mistake before Leo Pei brings up divorce. I certainly don't want to be the one to initiate it. When I went to the meetup, Fiona Sue was there too, inviting me to drink, and Ryan Liu only had a few glasses. I hesitated for a moment before taking a sip. To be honest, the wine was subpar, not even comparable to any random bottle from Leo Pei's winery collection. I took a small sip and then refused anymore. Cheap wine really isn't worth drinking. Just that tiny sip made me dizzy, and their faces started to blur into doubles. I slumped over the table, faintly hearing the two of them talking. Honey, you're not allowed to actually touch her. We agreed to just take one photo. Otherwise, I'll get jealous, and you'll have to work hard to win me back. Fiona Sue's voice, nasal and whiny like she had a cold. Who is she calling hubby? Why that disgusting tone all of a sudden? Don't worry, baby. Just taking some photos and videos. With this, we'll definitely secure the deal with the Pei group. Ryan Liu, my already foggy mind nearly short-circuited. Fiona Sue and Ryan Liu. I pressed the shortcut key on my phone. Just as Ryan's filthy hands were about to touch me, the bodyguards arranged by Leo Pei entered. Lana, are you okay? The two before me were surrounded by other security personnel. and the restaurant was quickly secured. "What are you doing?" "I'm Lana Shun's best friend. We grew up together." "What do you think you're doing?" Fiona Sue panicked. She'd been to my place a few times and seen many staff, but she never knew I always had bodyguards with me when I went out. Maybe I never imagined my so-called best friend would conspire with an outsider to set me up. What does she want? I don't understand. If she really wanted that collaboration, she could have just asked. I would have helped. Why go through all this trouble to frame me? Sorry, Lana Shun is our alumna. We had a great chat earlier and had a few too many drinks. She's just drunk. It's all a misunderstanding. Ryan Liu began to panic too. He maintained a calm facade, though his voice was already trembling. The bodyguards retrieved the restaurant's surveillance footage and made a copy of it right in front of them. My head is spinning. So dizzy, I feel like I'm floating. When I opened my eyes again, Liu Pei was holding me. He looked exhausted, with dark circles under his eyes as if he'd been up all night. "Honey," my voice trembled slightly. "The glass has been sent for testing," he said quietly. "They're going to jail." I stared at him blankly, a sudden shiver running through me. When Liu Pei gets ruthless, he's terrifyingly cold. It was the first time I'd seen him so emotionally exposed. The always refined Liu Pei tore off his tie. This side of him was a first, like he'd ripped off his gentlemanly mask to reveal a darker side. "Leo, is this really my refined, restrained, and steady husband?" I murmured his name softly. Somehow, this remark touched a nerve, and in the end, I was the one who ended up in tears. I stayed up all night, utterly drained. No way. Is he out of his mind? Could it be that news of Sienna Jiang has stirred some unusual emotions in him? My guess was right. Sienna Jiang has been transferred to the headquarters. "Lana, word from Heiress is that Sienna Jiang and Colchin broke up a month ago. Mr. Pei will be staying at the headquarters for a long time, not leaving until the project wraps up. With them crossing paths constantly, what if they run into each other?" The assistant had worked under Liu Pei for years. After our marriage, she was reassigned to me as my personal aide. She knew about Leo's pursuit of Sienna Jiang back in university. Sienna's reappearance made her more anxious and wary than even I was. After years by my side, if Leo and I were to divorce, her position would become extremely awkward. I kept painting, not too concerned. Even if I were, there was nothing to be done. It's not like I could stop them from seeing each other altogether. The power of the one that got away. "Lana, do you get it?" My assistant sighed. My hand trembled, and the brush stroke went crooked, though subtle. A jarring line was still visible on the canvas. "Even without Liu Pei, I can support you." I tried to reassure my assistant, yet she looked even more defeated, as if convinced that Sienna Jiang's return would deal a heavy blow to my marriage. "This unlucky girl." I told her I could provide for her, and she still doesn't believe me. Lately, my assistant has been hinting repeatedly for me to visit the company. I was quite busy, but I made time and went to the headquarters. On my way, I passed the administration building and saw a group of people waiting by the elevator from a distance. A man stood in the center. I didn't pay much attention at first, until that tall, imposing figure slowly turned around. It was Liu Pei. He wore a light gray suit, impeccably tailored, with an aloof expression as his fingers tapped lightly on his phone screen. He looked as if he had stepped out of a magazine, composed, unyielding, and unapproachable. This version of Liu Pei was one I rarely saw. "Lana," the assistant gently tugged my sleeve, tilting her chin discreetly toward a woman hiding behind a pillar. "Look over there. Is that Sienna Jiang?" I followed her gaze. Behind the pillar, someone was indeed standing, half concealed. It was Sienna Jiang. Sienna wore a long white dress, her slender neck adorned with an employee badge. Her makeup was subtle, her hair styled into an elegant half, updo with a pink butterfly hair clip. She stood sideways by the pillar, her eyes fixed unblinkingly on Liu Pei. Her gaze was indescribable, dazed yet complex, like someone seeing a long, lost love after years apart. For some reason, I disliked that look. It felt as if someone had set their sights on something I kept close, and instinctively, I wanted to push her away. The The two female colleagues beside her didn't seem to notice anything unusual. Mr. Pei is personally overseeing today's meeting. It'll probably go very late. This project is huge. After all, being the chairman's son, he's taking charge personally. No room for error. A man worth billions. I'll just steal a few more glances to soak up some of that wealth aura. As those words were spoken, I saw Sienna Zhang's pupils contract sharply, her lips bitten nearly bloodless. Watching her utterly heartbroken expression, I understood. She regretted it. It figures. The pure love warrior of her university days, tempered by society's trials, now realizes what she's missed. The elevator doors slid shut. Liu Pei's figure disappearing into the steel gap without pause or hesitation. Sienna Jiang stood frozen in place, her face paling by the second. "Hey, Sienna, are you okay?" She shook her head, forcing a weak smile. "I'm fine, just suddenly feeling a bit dizzy." No one knew what she was thinking at that moment. Neither did I. Just as I couldn't understand back then, I still don't understand now. I thought for a moment and decided not to disturb the secretary or take Liu Pei's private elevator. Instead, quietly riding the regular elevator with the assistant, Sienna Jiang and her colleague slowly walked in. She kept her head down, absent-mindedly scrolling through her phone, seemingly agitated by a message, standing there unsteadily. Otherwise, I think even with my sunglasses on, she would have recognized me. But standing at the back with the assistant, she remained completely unaware, lost in thought with her head lowered. Her odd behavior raised suspicions among her colleagues, and one of them, without thinking, read the message on her phone aloud. "Honey, can we really not negotiate the bride price any further? You know my family situation. We really can't afford $288,000. Many bride prices around here are only $128,000. An awkward silence fell over the elevator. The air seemed to freeze. The female colleague who had read the message realized her blunder and awkwardly fell silent. As for Sienna Jiang, the color drained from her face as if she had been publicly stripped bare. Her face flushed with an embarrassed red, then quickly faded into a bloodless gray pallor. If I had known things would turn out like this, back in university, I would never have rejected Liu Pei. Her voice was soft, as if murmuring to herself, or like an instinctive counterattack from suddenly being unable to bear the provocation. I tilted my head to glance at her. She actually brought up Liu Pei. The assistant covered her mouth, looking at me with a tense expression. Meanwhile, Sienna Jiang's two colleagues exchanged glances, their expressions rapidly shifting from shock to gossipy curiosity. "Really? You and Mr. Pei had a thing back then?" Sienna Jiang took a breath and nodded lightly, seeming to carry a hint of shy pride. "It's true. If you don't believe me, go check the Heiress University forum. Back then, he bought over 9,000 roses to pursue me. That post is probably still there. 9,000 roses, and he still didn't win you over?" Sienna Jiang's smile faltered for a moment. In that instant, her eyelashes lowered, as if a nerve had been quietly tugged and stung. The female colleague immediately pulled out her phone to search, and indeed found the sensational news in an old post, though the photos were no longer available. From the replies, it was clear that Liu Pei had pursued Sienna Jiang. A tycoon splurged extravagantly, showering 9,000 roses to pursue the department sweetheart, Sienna Jiang. I was there. The scene was absolutely unreal. I only wish it had been me. I was there too. So what if he's rich? The department's sweetheart wasn't interested. She turned him down and gave the roses to everyone in the girls' dorm, hesitantly asking, why did this tycoon chase the department sweetheart instead of the campus queen? Weren't they in the same dorm? After scrolling through a few pages, the female colleague quietly put away her phone, sensing something was off. Huh? No way. I heard Mr. Pei's wife also graduated from Ocean View University. Sienna Jiang listened, her palms turning white where her nails dug in. Only, when the pain hit, did she barely regain her composure. He got married? She asked hoarsely. Oh, ages ago. You joined later, so you wouldn't know. Everyone in our company got a 999 red envelope. Mr. Pei sent them personally, symbolizing lasting love with his wife. The company group chat exploded, with everyone's congratulations flooding in by the tens of thousands. It was absolutely insane. I even saw his wife's Instagram, traveling by private helicopter, Mr. Pei driving a Pullman, her cruising in a Rolls-Royce Dawn. That's the high society life for sure. Rumor has it she was a campus queen, level beauty. I raised an eyebrow. Seems like I'll need to keep a lower profile on Instagram from now on. At that moment, Sienna Jiang's eyes were frighteningly red. Her fingers clenched so tight, they turned white. By the look on her face, she must have guessed that the one who ended up marrying Liu Pei was me. Lana Shun. I knew her. We were roommates back then. When Liu Pei was pursuing me, I was still hesitating, but she set her sights on him and confessed outright. I thought her approach was inappropriate, but I never expected her to slap me across the face. Who knows what she told Liu Pei? But that same day, he inexplicably blocked me. At this point, Sienna Jiang trembled with rage, gritting her teeth, a thick layer of hatred rising in her eyes. Everyone in the elevator pricked up their ears. The air seemed to freeze. No one dared to speak, yet their eyes were wide with shock. I heard the assistant gulp, her breathing growing so faint it was barely audible. Standing in the corner, my fingers twitched slightly. Honestly, I felt a strong urge to slap her right then, but reason held back the impulse. If I acted out, the news would break out, giving the Pei Group's rivals a spark that could ignite a wildfire, ultimately affecting Liu Pei and even the stock price. Sienna, since you know Mr. Pei, could you help me deliver these meeting materials to the executive office's secretary? The female colleague handed over the documents. You're so pretty. If Mr. Pei sees you, he probably won't be able to take his eyes off you. She winked, the implication crystal clear. Sienna Jiang paused for a moment, then curved her lips into a perfectly measured smile. She wore a white dress today, with light makeup and her hair half up in a princess style, a bow clip adding to her gentle elegance. All right then, she said softly. I wonder if he still remembers me. She seemed somewhat uneasy, but more than that, there was a premeditated calmness about her. I stood still, not moving an inch. The assistant glanced at me, took in my pitch, black sunglasses, and silently shifted aside, even holding her breath. Of course I remember. To be honest, you're the one that got away level. How could anyone forget? But honestly, I can't even imagine what Mr. Pei is like in private. Just one look from him makes my legs go weak. Like I've committed some grave mistake. Sienna Jiang chuckled softly, her tone unhurried and tinged with familiarity. Well, he's actually very kind and gentlemanly. You'll see once you get to know him better. The assistant standing beside me looked as if she was about to roll her eyes any second. I stood there quietly, saying nothing. I just noted something intriguing in her words. Since transferring to the headquarters, she hasn't had a chance to meet Liu Pei yet. The elevator stopped on the 97th floor. They stepped out first. The reception secretary's expression turned icy upon seeing them, her voice cold as frost. How did you get up here? Sienna Jiang froze for a moment. She was here to deliver documents. Deliver what? Just hand them to the front desk. Which department are you from? How did someone just wander in here? The secretary was blunt, her eyes flashing with obvious impatience and wariness. After all, the 97th floor was a restricted core zone. No entry without special permission. The girl beside Sienna, Jiang, trembled in fear, and Sienna herself paled. Just as she was about to explain, the secretary suddenly noticed me, paused, and her expression shifted dramatically. She immediately straightened up, her tone now reverent, as if she were a different person. Good afternoon, madam. Mr. Pei is in a meeting. Would you like to wait in his office? I nodded. The secretary promptly stepped forward to guide the way, her attitude utterly deferential. Sienna Jiang stood rooted in place, as if struck by lightning, her expression stunned. Her eyes flashed with intense shock, confusion, and a barely suppressed hatred. She had recognized me. The female colleague beside her turned pale, a chill running down her spine as she vaguely recalled the words exchanged in the elevator. Just moments ago, they had been gossiping about Mr. Pei right in front of his wife. When the 97th floor button lit up in the elevator, she had her suspicions. But with the deadline looming and the hassle of applying for access, she decided to take a chance and ride up. Hearing Sienna Zhang's remark, she quickly found a scapegoat to shift the blame. After the 76th floor, only the four of them remained in the elevator. She had stolen a few glances. After all, such an strikingly elegant beauty was hard to ignore, though the dark sunglasses and icy demeanor made her hesitant to look too often. Little did she know, that was Mr. Pei's wife. In person, she was even more stunning than on Instagram. I said nothing, brushing past the two of them. At least for now, she still has to beg for favors just to go upstairs and gets kicked out for delivering documents. Proof that there's still a world of distance between her and Liu Pei. Perfect. The power of the one that got away seems rather overrated. Lana Shun, aren't you going to say something? If it weren't for me back then, do you think you'd even be worthy? Would it ever be your turn? Probably infuriated by being ignored, Lana Shun shouted loudly. Everyone in the secretariat looked up in unison. I stopped in my tracks and slowly removed my sunglasses. Where's the chief secretary? A woman in a well-tailored suit hurried over, with a wave of her hand. Two others escorted Sienna Jiang and her female colleague away. It was quite undignified. Sienna Jiang huffed angrily and warned me to wait for what's coming. The assistant coldly reminded the chief secretary, don't let her come up to the executive office again. Truthfully, the reminder was unnecessary. I never paid Sienna Jiang any mind. I came only to see through Liu Pei's true intentions. If a mere glance from her could stir his heart, then there was no point clinging to this marriage. Liu Pei is a man of strict self-discipline. If he still held feelings for Sienna Jiang, he would have taken action. With his business acumen, if he wanted a divorce and she wasn't prepared, she'd be thrown out in the most humiliating way. He never shows mercy to his business rivals. I sat down in Liu Pei's office, which was as luxurious as ever, complete with a master bedroom, golf simulator, cigar lounge, pool table, and even an arcade. I never understood his hobbies. Learning that his meeting would last 2 hours, I decided to take the chance to rest. The assistant leaned in. Lana, did you notice? The outfit Sienna Jiang wore today kinda resembles what you used to wear in college. She paused, then eagerly pulled out her phone. I have an old photo I took. Mr. Pei even rewarded me with a month's salary because of it. Excitedly, she scrolled through tens of thousands of photos. Lately, I've been swamped, squeezing in time to come to the office and get a handle on things, just to avoid being caught off guard, had really worn me out. I glanced casually, drowsiness washing over me, and fell into a deep sleep on the leather sofa. I was woken by a kiss. The moment I opened my eyes, Liu Pei had one hand loosening his tie while the other braced beside me, leaning down to kiss me deeply. There was no escaping it. I nearly suffocated. Seriously, trying to murder me, all ready to make way for the one that got away? I bit him, and he released me with a hiss, gently rubbing the corner of his mouth as he murmured, "Why are you here?" I'd rarely visited Leo at the company. His tone held a strangely wounded note. I heard Sienna Jiang transferred here. I came to see. I stared straight at him, unwilling to miss a single shift in his expression. The man known for his ruthless precision in business looked briefly bewildered, then thoughtful, a faint smile touching his lips. I fixed on that subtly curved mouth, the spot I'd bitten red and nearly raw glaring back at me. He smiled. I sighed softly to myself. Seems this marriage is most likely headed for divorce. I suppose I need to go back and discuss this carefully with my lawyer. If all else fails, I'll set up a camera. If Liu Pei cheats during our marriage, I should be able to get more. While I was still meticulously planning in my head, I was suddenly pulled into Liu Pei's embrace. He nuzzled my hair. When her name came up, suddenly, earlier, I didn't react right away. You're jealous. That makes me happy. What a weird man. Me? Jealous? All right, I have class tonight. I slipped out of his arms, This atmosphere feels strange, and I don't like it. I went to tidy my clothes and hair. My assistant always says I'm too meticulous. Even my feet are kept fair and soft, no matter the occasion. I'm always immaculate. I stared at myself in the mirror and reapplied my lipstick. She's absolutely right. I never allow myself the slightest slack, just like my daily 6-kilometer jog, which I've never skipped. So I'm here to see if Leo Pei is still worth keeping. When I went out, Leo Pei had also tidied up, his coat draped aside, wearing a shirt with his tie neatly retied, sitting upright at his desk, holding a pen to sign documents. Seeing me come out, he pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses, once again exuding that authoritative, old-school executive aura. I'm flying to country F the day after tomorrow for about 2 months. Like a routine report, I said it briefly. His pen paused mid-signature. He looked up and gave me a deep glance, but said nothing. I glanced at him, swiping my phone screen, as the assistant cautiously knocked on the door, breaking the silent stillness. Let's go. I stood up. The assistant clutched my bag, nervously following behind me. Lana, Mr. Pei seems unhappy. The moment she entered, she almost held her breath. I hummed in acknowledgement. Whether he's happy or not has nothing to do with me. Having been in the business world for so many years, a seasoned executive like Leo Pei rarely lets others easily detect his emotions. For even the assistant to notice his cold expression meant he was clearly upset. That must be directed at me. Then, Lana, look at the photo. The assistant eagerly pulled out her phone, showing me the picture like a treasured offering. I initially just glanced casually. The photo was frozen in a summer dusk, a tilted umbrella sheltering the man's head, while I stood beside him, holding a bouquet of dark roses. The lens captured the moment our eyes met. I remember that day, raining, with the slanting sunset breaking through the clouds. I looked at him and smiled. Send me the photo. I snapped back to reality and put on my sunglasses. The assistant's fingers flew across the screen. About a minute later, the assistant spun around excitedly. Who would have thought? One photo earned me 2 bonuses. Lana, I love you. I ignored her, lost in the memories the photo evoked. The assistant took several deep breaths while driving before calming down. Lana, look at that hair clip and your hairstyle in the photo. Doesn't Sienna Zhang's look today resemble yours? After the assistant said this, I felt inexplicably irritated. It suddenly occurred to me that day, I was the one who stopped him and said, I don't have a boyfriend. Chase me. But I don't remember ever wearing a white dress like that, nor do I recall using a bow hair clip. Yet today's Sienna Zhang, from her hair tips to her dress hem, from her makeup to her demeanor, is almost identical. In an instant, something shattered. My heart felt as if pierced slowly by an icy needle, not painful, but cold. Dripping water wears through stone. At this moment, I heard something deep within finally break. Let's talk tonight. Just as I was fuming, a text from Leo Pei popped up. My usual calm and detachment shattered instantly. Talk about what? Divorce? I tossed my phone aside. Book me a flight tonight. Anywhere. I need to cool off. My assistant glanced furtively at my expression, puzzled by how I'd suddenly turned chillingly cold. I didn't go home, didn't attend class. The only moment of impulsiveness was probably right now, boarding the plane with my documents. Upon landing, the hotel manager came to pick me up. As soon as my phone turned on, it showed countless missed calls from Leo Pei. Looking at them filled me with irritation. The divorce agreement has been drafted and is in the second drawer of the bookcase. Review it yourself, and if there are any issues, have the legal department discuss and handle them. Whether to announce the divorce is entirely up to you. I typed out a text message. After sending it, I turned off my phone. Divorce isn't that simple. It's bound to be messy. Thankfully, I insisted on delaying having children from the start and always use contraception. Otherwise, it would be even harder to separate if we had a child. I soaked myself in the bathtub, unwilling to get up even after the water turned cold. Meanwhile, Leo Pei was furious. What happened today? Leo Pei's darkened expression was terrifying. His assistant hadn't seen him like this in a long time. His voice wasn't loud, but it weighed on her so heavily she could barely breathe. Today, Sienna Jiang came to the executive office looking for you. Mr. Pei, remember her? The girl you pursued in college, the one you custom ordered 9,000 roses for. Lana ran into her in the elevator. She claimed Lana stole her boyfriend back then and even slapped her. She also said it was thanks to her that you two ended up together. Oh. And Sienna Jiang yelled at Lana too. Something like, Lana Shun, aren't you going to say anything? If it weren't for me back then, do you think you'd even deserve him? Would it ever have been your turn? The assistant mimicked Sienna Jiang's tone as she spoke, nailing the imitation perfectly, though her exaggerated grimace was a bit over the top. Liu Pei's gaze flickered with shifting intensity. His expression instantly turned ice. Cold and terrifying, he picked up his phone and dialed the internal line. Within 10 minutes, blacklist Sienna Jiang permanently from Pei Group and all subsidiaries. Refused to hire or collaborate with her in any project or position, now and forever. The person on the other end was startled. Mr. Pei? Remove her as a nominal investor. Freeze all approved budgets. Halt the projects and pull the ads. He spoke word by word, his tone calm as if discussing the weather. Yet it made the temperature across the entire office floor plummet. She dared to climb up by stepping on my ma'am's face. She should have known the consequences. He stubbed out his cigarette, stood up, his voice low and icy. When did she start drafting the divorce papers? Hanging up the phone, Liu Pei thought of that brief message, his heart wrenching sharply. The assistant's eyes widened, knowing he couldn't hide it. He admitted bluntly, when Sienna Jiang broke up with Cole Chen, the air seemed to briefly freeze. Just as the assistant was about to suffocate from the tension, he flicked his fingers lightly, gesturing casually toward the door. He told her to leave. The assistant breathed a sigh of relief. Glancing back, she felt Mr. Pei looked as if he might shatter at any moment. Assistant, frantically calling Lana Shun, yet the phone remained switched off. I was woken by the doorbell. Stepping out of the bath, a chill ran through me. I've been so exhausted lately, always tired. I'd actually fallen asleep in the tub. Outside the door stood Liu Pei, looking weary and haggard. Lana Shun. He called my name, each syllable deliberate and clear. Then he pulled me into his embrace, holding me so tightly I nearly suffocated. What are you doing here? If I remember correctly, headquarters has been extremely busy lately, and he's been overseeing a project from start to finish. Why would he suddenly appear here? He lowered his head and tore open her bathrobe. Like a crazed beast, I pushed against him, but it was useless. After the chaos, he still held me, his grip like a vice, trembling slightly. Dream on if you think I'll agree to a divorce. I was baffled. Liu Pei. My voice was hoarse but cold as frost. Instinctively, he held me even tighter. Lana Shen, I said I wanted to talk to you. It's about your friend Fiona Sue. Truly a businessman. His mind works fast. My attention was instantly diverted, even though I hadn't asked about it lately. It had been weighing on my mind. I wanted to know why she treated me that way. I couldn't figure it out. She took all the blame. Ryan Liu got off scot-free, and Fiona Sue was going to prison. Liu Pei looked at me, almost as if he pitied me. I didn't have many friends. Fiona was the only one. We grew up together, had our little squabbles. But in the end, I always let her have her way. She was the stubborn type, keeping a lot bottled up inside. If I ever ignored her, she'd be the one hiding away to cry. I stared at the ceiling, feeling lost for a moment. Why? I couldn't figure it out. I wouldn't obsess over things I couldn't understand. What's done is done, no matter the reason. The fact remained that Fiona had betrayed me. This time, I wouldn't forgive her. But I glanced up at Liu Pei. He'd clearly taken Fiona's words to heart, yet claimed he hadn't taken them seriously. He wasn't my first love. When he pursued me, he spread some rumors. I was furious and warned him off. This must be his revenge. I sighed. Ryan Liu was very handsome and had many admirers, which is why he couldn't accept my rejection and even held a grudge. He deliberately spread rumors about us being together and was further provoked when I married someone wealthy. Driven by resentment, He started his own business abroad and succeeded, probably intending to come back and humiliate me. But then he realized that everything he had achieved was worthless in my eyes. So, to get revenge, he pursued Fiona Sue, whom he otherwise would have had no chance with. After his persistent efforts, Fiona eventually fell for him. That's why she kept their relationship secret from me and eventually conspired with him to ruin me. Like me, Fiona didn't have a happy family when she was young. She always dreamed of having a home of her own. Someone as calculating as Ryan saw right through her desires and knew exactly how to make her fall completely under his spell, trapped in the illusory dream he crafted for her. She was even willing to go to prison for him. Still, going to such extremes just for revenge seemed illogical, and I frowned. How is Ryan Liu's company doing? I asked. Can't compare to the Pay Group. Leo Pay answered swiftly. How many can even rival the Pay Group? What is he trying to say? Knowing exactly what I meant, I stared at him expressionlessly. His company's funding chain has issues. No wonder. I want Ryan Liu to lose everything. When it comes to business warfare, Leo Pei is the ace. Got it, wifey. The corner of his lips curled as he rested his chin on my shoulder, suddenly in high spirits. I rarely see this side of Leo, or perhaps I've never truly seen through him. Maybe it's because he agreed so readily. After a moment's thought, I kindly reminded him, you should go find Sienna Jiang. She's fallen out with her boyfriend over the bride price. She'd follow you now, even without 9,000 roses. Hearing that name, his body stiffened for a second. Why would I look for her? He said hoarsely. My wife is right here. Fair enough. Guess he got used to having a substitute. Seeing the look in my eyes, he felt a wave of defeat. He gently bit my shoulder, cupped my face in his hands, both annoyed and helpless. Let me explain. When I pursued her, it was a case of mistaken identity. The shrewd Leo Pei was reluctant to admit this absurd and laughable beginning, but if it was something his wife minded, he didn't mind sharing his embarrassing story. During Ocean View University's anniversary celebration, I passed by the music room and saw you playing the piano for a cat that day. That one glance left a lifelong impression. Unfortunately, just as I wanted to get to know you, I was called away. I thought it didn't matter. I was sure I'd run into you again. A hint of embarrassment flashed across his face. Later, I met Sienna Jiang, wearing the same clothes you'd worn and styled just like you. I thought it was you, so I started pursuing her. It was my first time liking someone, and as for how to chase after someone, I followed the guides your current assistant gave me. Roses, handbags, lipstick. The first time we met, I asked her, hello, I'm Leo Pei. I saw you yesterday in the music room. The way you played piano for the Stray Cats was captivating. May I pursue you? Leo Pei, young and love-struck, stood before Sienna Jiang, holding a bouquet, carefully choosing his words. No, if you like me because of the Stray Cats, I refuse. I won't play piano there again. Leo Pei was rejected. Annoyed, he recounted the incident to his young assistant, thinking the freshly graduated girl might understand how to win a woman's heart. Sienna Jiang kept refusing him, but never told him it wasn't her playing piano in the music room that day. Nor did she mention she already had a boyfriend. She simply watched as Leo Pei fell deeper into infatuation. Until that day when you told me she had a boyfriend, I was disheartened. But when you tilted the umbrella toward me and smiled in that white dress, it felt like that moment from before had returned. I felt a shameful flutter in my heart. It felt so wrong, but my intuition told me to go to the Ocean View University music room to confirm, and it turned out to be you. I was overjoyed. It was you all along. The one I've always liked was you. He lowered his head. This affection of mine is a bit flawed. I'm such a failure, aren't I? I didn't dare bring it up. It's nothing to be proud of, but that roommate of yours, she's really not very ethical. You might not have noticed, but she was imitating you. Her clothes, her style, everything. And she probably guessed I liked you. Not her. She deliberately misled me, confessing every time right under your dorm building. Every time I thought about you watching those scenes from upstairs. I couldn't admit that foolish person was me, so I stayed silent. When we got together, I was so happy I could have gone crazy. We got married. Lana, shun. He sighed. But I realized you were always so clear-headed, so much that you could pull away from me anytime, anywhere. You love traveling. You love freedom, just like how I love being at the company, expanding my business empire bit by bit. I thought we'd be like this for a lifetime, but you actually said you want a divorce. I don't agree. Lana, Shen, hear me clearly. I don't agree. Ugh, the heartfelt confession was abruptly cut short by my sudden wave of nausea. I didn't dare look at Liu Pei's expression. I really felt like throwing up. I held it back again and again, but finally couldn't resist, rushing to the bathroom. By the time I came out, Liu Pei was already dressed. He took me to the hospital. On the way, I kept turning over his confession in my mind. I thought Liu Pei was in love with Sienna Jiang, and that I just happened to show up, a ready, made girlfriend appearing right after his repeated setbacks with her. So I never brought up matters of the heart with Liu Pei. Liu Pei also carefully avoided the topic. I thought we would just make do like this, and I was even prepared for the possibility of breaking up once Sienna Jiang returned. I avoided Liu Pei's gaze. In the early morning, the air conditioning in the VIP ward was freezing. Miss Shen, congratulations. You're pregnant. The nurse's words dropped like a bomb, leaving both Liu Pei and me utterly stunned. We never planned to have children, I recalled. It was probably during that incident when Ryan Liu tried to harm me. Liu Pei went crazy and didn't use protection. And afterward, I forgot to take the pill. The two of them exchanged a glance. An eerie silence fell between them. The nurse smiled awkwardly. Be careful in the first 3 months. Avoid intercourse. She gave a long list of instructions. I was still in a dazed, confused state, but Liu Pei was already taking careful notes. Have the designer remodel 2 nurseries at home. Liu Pei swiped on his phone, sending a voice message to his assistant. Then he looked up at me. Lana, Shen, do you think little Pei will take after me or you? Will it be a boy or a girl? If it's a boy, I'll teach him business from a young age. It'll save him a lot of detours when he grows up. The thought of a little stoic sitting next to Liu Pei's office, signing documents with a stern face, sent a chill down my spine. A girl. I cut him off. Liu Pei's lips curved into a slight smile. Little Lana would definitely be adorable. An image of a little girl in a pink dress, all soft and rosy, surfaced in my mind. I glanced at Liu Pei. This man was terrifyingly shrewd. With just 2 sentences, he had swept me into fantasies of a child, even though moments before we were discussing divorce. Clearly, neither of us was ready to be parents and were still hesitating. Yet he could embrace this new identity in an instant, and he was guiding me to accept it too. After pondering in bed for a few minutes, I decided to have a serious talk with Liu Pei. I won't tolerate infidelity, emotional or physical. If you fall for someone else during our marriage, the assets will be split 3 ways. The child and I take 2/3. You get 1. Liu Pei took a deep breath. Okay, truthfully, I knew this meant little to him. With the Pei family empire behind him, he could always make a comeback. The very next day, his entire team flew here on triple pay, with all travel and expenses covered. Once he finished work, he rushed over to see me. He even brought a legal team to draft the agreement I mentioned yesterday. Only after the final signature did I finally breathe a sigh of relief. Hard to describe how I felt. This was something I had always wanted to do, but when it was finally in my hands, with this security, I wasn't actually happy. Liu Pei established a company in my name and hired a professional management team to mentor me step by step. I had some prior experience, so I picked things up quickly. Even Leo was a bit surprised. Lana, Shen, if you had entered the business world earlier, we might have been equals. I didn't confirm or deny it because I felt the same way. But it might also be because all my current resources come from the Pei family. Standing on the shoulders of giants always makes things easier. After establishing the company, life became very busy. It made Leo nervous watching me, but seeing my rare smiles, he relaxed. Lana, Shen, now that you have a company, with or without me, you have the confidence to negotiate with me. We're equals now. Would you consider trying to love me? Liu Pei held the soup prepared by the nutritionist. Tall as he was, He slightly bent his body, watching me with such unease and tension, as if awaiting my judgment. I didn't speak. If this were back when I first got together with Leo Pei, I might have casually blurted out, "I love you," without a second thought, even if it wasn't sincere. But at this moment, I simply couldn't give him the brush off. In the end, I nodded. Okay. The chairman and chairwoman of the Pei Group distributed benefits to the company, reportedly to celebrate the birth of their grandson. Yet as I looked at the wrinkly, not so cute little bundle, I didn't feel much maternal love. I wonder if I'm an exception. After all, I've seen other mothers holding their newborns and crying tears of joy. A miniature version of Leo Pei. She already has a boyfriend. Well, little Pei, mommy loves you, and daddy too. Leo Pei, so tall, looked especially comical, holding the little bundle, whispering softly into the baby's ear. It seems I've seen a different side of Leo Pei again. Looking at him, I couldn't help but curve my lips into a smile. Do I love my husband? Before little Pei came along, I could say no, and divorce was always an option. But as he explained, my heart gradually began to let go. The day I played music for the stray cat was the day my parents divorced, with both families tearing each other apart. It was also the day I, on the verge of breaking, began to rebuild myself through the piano's notes. I never expected that moment to be frozen in someone else's world. It felt like someone had picked up my broken pieces, pieced them together, and said they liked what they saw. Love? It seems my heart is stirring.